Just arrived at Flamenco Island at the Marina after a nice Uber ride from the Central Hotel.
Oh, it's pretty exciting. It's a beautiful day, and we are hopping on the boat today.
But first, let's back up a bit. Several years ago, our friends Steffi and Torsten embarked from Vancouver on their Beneteau 42 to cruise full-time and explore the world. They took their time exploring the west coast of North America and made their way to Panama City, where they will take their boat through the canal and into the Atlantic to continue their travels. They invited Lisa and I to help them with the transit, so we booked some time off and flew down to join them. There are no direct flights from Vancouver, so we spent an extended layover in Miami, where we visited the Fort Lauderdale International Boat Show and spent a few extra days exploring the Florida Keys. From there, we hopped on a flight to Panama, where we spent an amazing week exploring Panama City, visiting the native Embera tribe on the Chagres River, taking a boat trip to the Pearl Islands, and checking out some museums and other sites. This video is focused on our time transiting the canal, but we've posted a few extra pics from our other adventures at the end of this video. So that brings us back to the start of this adventure at Flamenco Marina in Panama City. Flamenco Marina is situated on a small group of scenic islands connected to Panama City by the Amador Causeway. It is a bustling area with shops, restaurants, and boatyard facilities, and the marina is well known as a layover spot for all types of sailboats and yachts as they come and go from the Panama Canal. It is also the terminus for ferries and tour boats coming and going to the various islands around Panama City. And this is Fortitude X, our home for the next 2 days.
So this will be your home for...
You're sure about that?
Yes, 100%.
No, not really, but the damage is done.
It's fenders
This is the garage. Torsten's sleeping here tonight,
and the lines.
and a few of the line handlers are sleeping here. Steffi's,
Check the forward.
I will. Steffi's sleeping here, and for some strange reason,
Okay.
they're allowing Lisa and I in the owner's cabin, which is unexpected and very much appreciated. But that's awesome. We get our own ensuite.
On the bed.
And on the, oh my goodness, oh, there's another Fortitude shirt too. This is awesome. That's really cool. Very nice. Look at that. That's Team Fortitude. Oh, and Lisa got one too.
Check the background.
Check the back of the shirt.
Okay. Oh, very nice. Very nice. That's cool. That's Team Fortitude. Look at that.
Or the crew shirt.
Very cool. Very nice. Very thoughtful of Steffi and Torsten.
Playing around with our fenders. So we got 2, 4, 6, 8 big fenders, and in the front you have the lines. And you have 2 more for the stern. And this is the Pacific Queen coming in.
Yeah, he's going fast.
He's going, I think that's the one to Las Perlas, but not, no? I don't know. Yeah, they're coming in pretty.
So these lines here, they were part of the transit fee, or
Yeah, so we have one package
they
for
weren't? They weren't.
fenders and for lines. They bring it, they just like 10 minutes ago, and then they will pick it up on the other side. Safely and soundly arrived.
Yeah, cheers.
Great souls who
Yeah.
are not scared to join us for this adventure. Cheers.
Cheers.
Okay, 3:15 in the morning. Everybody's up and getting ready to go.
Right now.
Panama. Okay, there's our helmswoman and coffee barista, Steffi.
Good morning. Are
Bright
you
and
ready
early.
for coffee?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Nav station. This is Cody, hard at work helping us get the lines ready for the transit. Cody was hired to assist and guide us with the deck duties and line handling and resides near Cologne on the Atlantic side of the canal. A very early departure to make our rendezvous time in Panama Bay. It's calm right now, but will soon get quite blustery as we leave the protected area around the marina. At this point, we're experiencing 20 plus knot winds and a decent chop as we try to contact and locate the pilot boat to pick up our second Panamanian crewmate, who will serve as our advisor to guide us through the canal. After locating the pilot boat, it took several nerve-wracking attempts to get close enough for our advisor to make the jump on board. The boats came within inches of each other, and we were quite relieved after he was safely on board and the pilot boat veered away. We are approaching the Bridge of the Americas, the first of three major bridges which we will pass under. Completed in 1962, the bridge connects the Pan American Highway, linking the Americas from Alaska to Argentina. Queuing up behind the first lock, and we're going in behind that car carrier there, and we're apparently going to raft up with that pleasure boat, Serenity, 51-foot catamaran. And they're going to go through the first three locks with us, and after that they're finished their journey and we're going to carry on without them. We're rafting up with Serenity for the first time in Miraflores Lock 1. Serenity will ride up the side of the lock as the water rises, and their crew will need to manage the lines while we will simply go along for the ride. We will disconnect at the top, and this process will repeat again twice as we ride up Miraflores Lock 2 and the Pedro Miguel Lock. Steffi and Torsen's preference is to avoid riding up and down the side of the locks with their boat, as the clearance between their sailboat's mast and rigging and the side of the canal would not provide much leeway in the event the boat starts rocking. This is not an issue, however, for a powerboat such as Serenity.
Is the water getting recycled? Like it's not...
No,
not at all?
With the new locks, we do have water-saving basins on the side.
Yeah.
60% of the water is recycled, but not with these. 110 years ago, they didn't think about it.
Look at that.
All ships travel through the canal under their own power. However, the ships are kept perfectly aligned by electric locomotives called mules, which are tethered to the ship at the four corners. This is especially important for large ships, as they generally only have a few feet of clearance from the edges of the canal. The mules have winches which constantly adjust the length and tension of the lines as the elevation of the ship is constantly changing with respect to the surrounding ground.
But he's moving on his own pace.
The mules are keeping him aligned. For smaller vessels like ours, we also proceed under our own power, but we retain our own steering control. We only need to secure our lines after we are stationary, being raised or lowered within the locks. We visited the Miraflores Visitor Center a few days prior to our transit and watched some ships transiting from the viewing gallery. We were disappointed that most of the exhibits in the Visitor Center were closed for renovations. However, we enjoyed watching an interesting IMAX movie on the history and workings of the canal. Here we see the mules at work. They are attached to the ship's corners, keeping the ship aligned as it proceeds through the locks.
El buque de carga general, damas y caballeros, navegando desde la costa este de los Estados Unidos, se dirige hacia...
Time for a quick break as we transit through Miraflores Lake between the second and third set of locks. The Pedro Miguel locks will be the last set of locks on the Pacific side, which will bring us to 85 feet above sea level. We're just exiting the third lock going up from the Pacific into Gatun Lake. I think we're good for a few hours of cruising now until we get to the locks going on the other side, going back down again. So my job for the first three locks was as the line handler on the bow of the boat. We got kind of lucky. We didn't have to use 4 line handlers because we were rafted up to Serenity. So they would go first and they would tie up to the side of the lock and they would manage the lines as the water level increased. And what we had to do was come up alongside of them, tie up to them, and just ride up the lock with them. So that was a little bit easier. They did most of the work. So I, as the line handler in the bow, I just had to throw the line and make the boat secure and then untie it again at the end of every lock. Having a good breakfast. It's 9:45, and we're through the locks, so we're taking a break.
You had some excitement this morning?
Thanks to Lisa, and thanks mostly to Lisa.
Galley slave.
Galley slave. Here we're coming up to the Centennial Bridge. You can see the car carrier in front of us, the Rigel Leader from Japan. We've been transiting for the first 3 locks with them, and I think they're going to get away from us now in Gatun Lake. And we'll probably hook up with a different vessel or vessels going back down the Gatun locks on the other side. And there's our friends in Serenity. That's the ones we rafted up with. That is the Calibra cut. That was a huge undertaking back in the day, 100 years ago, over 100 years ago. Apparently, over 25,000 people died constructing this canal. A lot of them right here on this Calibra cut. So this is Jamie, he's our pilot, taking us through the Panama Canal. And tell us a little bit about yourself, Jamie. How long have you been doing this, and what's your background?
Okay, my name is Jamie Troiano. I've been in the canal for 25 years already. My background is actually, I do a little bit of everything, but my background education-wise is tourism and also logistics, and masters in logistics. Aside from that, I do different things in the canal. This is one of them. I transit all yachts and sailboats that go through the canal up to 20 meters in length overall. But I also do the part of the historic part of the canal, where I do investigations or reports about the Panama Canal construction and all that.
This crane here is the Titan from Germany, manufactured in 1941. And it only saw service in Panama in the 90s apparently. Now we can relax for a few hours, just heading up the Chagres River and into Gatun Lake. That big guy coming up behind us is the Kilimanjaro, and that is a ultra Panamax size. So the larger Panama Canal is 180 feet wide. This guy is about 160 or so feet wide. So too big to fit through the Panama Canal that we just came through.
What we're doing today is a northbound transit, which means we're going from the Pacific to the Caribbean. And it's a 50-mile long journey, or 80 kilometers, where it's going to take a vessel from 8 to 10 hours to cross. For sailboats or yachts is a little bit different. It takes a little bit longer because you need to be to do the transit inside the locks with other vessels. That way we are saving water for the Panama Canal. It's a freshwater canal, so if we do have space available inside the lock for more than one vessel, we will actually save water by doing that. It's called a tandem lockage, to have more than one vessel inside the chamber. Now we went through Miraflores and Pedro Miguel locks. To cross the canal, you need to go up 3 steps or 3 chambers of the locks. So in Miraflores we went 2 chambers, 2 steps, and in Pedro Miguel 1 chamber. That equals to 3, meaning that we go up from 0 level to 85 feet above sea level, which is Gatun Lake level. It's a man-made lake. So we need to cross the lake, which will take 3 hours and a half to 4 hours, and then we'll reach the last lock before the Caribbean. So that lock, the name of it is Gatun, and Gatun has all 3 chambers together, and we go down from 85 feet to 0 level. So in other words, if you go up on one side 3 steps, you need to go on the other side down 3 steps, or vice versa.
Hey, we are still in the middle of Gatun Lake here, approaching our last set of locks, and the question just came up to go through right away, but being tied to the wall, like being on the side in the locks, in all 3 locks, or stay put and wait for a later transit and go center lock. And as tempting as it is to go through the locks right now, we decided against the wall type, because our rig will get really close to the wall as we are lowering the boat, and we pretty much would just be a foot away from the wall and don't really want to risk it. So better safe than sorry.
We are almost at the end of Gatun Lake, heading towards the Gatun locks. Traffic is increasing again. Okay, talk me through a second hot meal, Lisa.
This is all Steffi's doing. She pre-made some nice Thai curry. So, bon appetit.
Caliente y picante. Tie up temporarily on this dock here. Wait for that blue ship to pass. As soon as the gates open, we're going back in. Then I think we're the first ones in the lock, and we're going to do the lines from the 4 corners. Okay, there's the Ocean Bright, going to be following us through the Gatun locks. Monkey fist. He's going to swing in the monkey fist. My goal is not to get hit with that thing. That's like a couple pounds of lead in there. They're going to wing over. In this instance, we need to secure the boat in the center of the canal, which is done by passing lines from the 4 corners of our boat to 4 canal workers on shore. This is achieved at each corner by first receiving a smaller messenger line thrown to the boat from shore and tying that line to our larger dock lines. The dock lines are pulled back to shore and secured by the canal workers while the line handlers on the boat maintain tension and control the boat's position as the water level in the canal changes. The messenger lines are weighted with a small lead weight roughly the size of a baseball, known as a monkey fist. In some instances, monkey fists have caused injury to unsuspecting line handlers or damage to boats. We took a precautionary step and attached some life jackets to protect the plexiglass hatches. So this is Konstantin. He's a friend of Torsten and Steffi's, and he's my fellow line handler for the day. Konstantin's living in Panama City right now.
Yeah, I'm Austrian. I live here in Panama City since about 15 years, doing welding jobs around the canal and the other industries. It's the first time for me that I'm on the sailboat today.
Yeah. That's it, one more gate, and then we're into the Caribbean. Panama Canal lock gates were manufactured in 1913 in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and they continue to function remarkably well more than a century later. These massive gates are hollow and perfectly balanced, allowing them to open and close with very little energy required.
That's the Caribbean.
Originally they were manually operated, but today hydraulic systems control their movement. Despite the passage of time and the challenges of heavy use, the gates remain a testament to engineering ingenuity and durability. The Atlantic Bridge, completed in 2019, is the third crossing of the Panama Canal. It connects the northern end near Cologne to a largely undeveloped region on the other side of the canal.
And that, on our starboard side, is the new canal, I've just been told. So the new, bigger, improved canal. And apparently a lot of that excavation on the Caribbean side was already done by the French in the late 1800s, and they abandoned it. And when the Americans came in the early 1900s to dig the canal, they chose a new path, which is what we just came through. And for the expansion, they took advantage of that excavation that was done back in the late 19th century.
Once again, we prepared a rendezvous with a pilot boat, this time to drop Jamie off on the Atlantic side. A greatly simplified procedure during daylight and in calmer conditions. Cody will remain with us to the Shelter Bay Marina, where he has arranged transportation back to his home near Cologne.
That's much easier than the first time.
No, you're good.
Okay, thanks, Jamie.
Yeah, good job.
Gracias. Heading into Shelter Bay Marina.
Look at that drug dealer boat, man. Look at the 4 outboard engine drug dealer boats. Can you see that? The blue ones.
Yeah.
This is a
Okay, how did you guys like the passage?
I think it was absolutely great, good organized. We had a little bit rough start with 23 knots of wind waiting and get the advisor like an hour and a half, 2 hours later on board.
But yeah, other than that, really having friends on board made it really bearable. It was fun.
That was fun. And so I think Steffi and I would have not the 2 encounters with the boat getting on and off because we know the boat better. So we would have stayed a little bit away and moved into the boat.
Overall impression, really, I think it was a great adventure. We had so much anticipation to get into this, and then it was absolutely stunning. I'm exhausted, but I'm so happy, really.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
thanks, guys.
Shelter Bay Marina is on the opposite side of the canal from Cologne. It is a very nice marina and self-contained community with a restaurant, hotel rooms, chandlery, store, swimming pool, and boat maintenance yard. Like Flamenco, it is a popular spot for transient moorage as long-distance cruisers take advantage of the facilities to catch up on maintenance or other shore-based activities prior to embarking on the next leg of their journey. We were fortunate to catch a ride back to Panama City with Constantine and one of his employees the next day. We had not made prior arrangements, having assumed bus transportation from Cologne or Shelter Bay would be readily available, but this was not the case.